I don't want to do this. I never wanted to be funny. In a way, I hate being funny. Being funny means that you have a lot of energy, but not the wherewithal to live the life you want. So you just blurt things out and people feel those shockwaves coming from you. Being funny, in a way, means you aren't good enough to be who you want to be. I kind of hate that. I have resources but not the skills to build or organize it into a meaningful quality of life. So it just shoots out and people laugh at my inability to be me. That's funny, I guess. My whole life I have never been myself. In a way, I'm like the Joker. I feel I deserve one thing but was always just out of reach, a hair's breadth away or more. I could smell it, but no. I went to school to be a therapist, but it was so boring I dropped out. I read the whole self-help section, all psychology, philosophy, spiritual books. It's all bullshit. Being dumb sucks. Being smart sucks worse, because it's work and it never gets you anywhere. Life is the greatest gift, but if you aren't yourself, life is the worst curse. You hate being alive, because every day is like living through a funhouse mirror, distorted, driving you insane. But you have no choice. Suicide, no offense, is for losers. You can't let your haters win or be right. You have to do your best every day, beat the losers in your life, baby steps. Some say temptations are everywhere, but if you know it's temptation, it's not tempting. Like some people want to jump off cliffs, they're tempted, but sane people aren't tempted because it's just pain and death. Temptation means a speck of pleasure for mountains of pain. A mountain of pain isn't tempting. I forgot what I was saying. If you're scared, you can't be yourself. That's the greatest torture of all. You can't have joy if you aren't yourself. It's the only way. That doesn't mean I want to hurt people. That's not your best self. That's your pain and fear. Your real self is joy and light. You have to distance from bad and attach or chase the good. Maybe corny, but we are born from God, and God only makes good. It's the world that tempts, promises shortcuts, but leads to torture and suffering. I hope you choose joy, because all the losers who choose suffering, who hate our joy, losers never win. Thank you. Trauma is the one thing no one wants to talk about. It's depressing, literally. Look around right now. It sucks the energy out of the room. Ew, gross. I'd rather be anywhere than talking about this, people say. Well, who has a good life, though? If you study history, no one is exempt. Kings, trust fund babies. The trauma and challenges are different, but just as intense. Nick Romanov was freely given czardom as a young man, no boss or oversight, a whole country to do as he pleased. The world his playground. Songs by Lorde about, being a queen. Sounds glamorous, but think of millions living and dying by your choices, with threat of revolt or invasion, whether you do a good job or not. Yes, he never worried about where his next meal came, but in a way his problems were much higher, and of course he died with his family in a random basement after a revolt. Truth bomb, brace yourself. My creepiest truth, my dad was a pedophile and he molested me. Whoa, that was awkward. I didn't remember until my early 20s, but I was always a, quote, troubled child, chasing girls for kisses in preschool, always sassing and pranking, dumb and harmful, disruptive stuff. It made sense once I remembered, oh, that's why I am the way I am. Sorry for indulgence. Anyway, trauma is disruptive. It confuses boundaries and what's normal or acceptable. Like the thermodynamic law, equal opposite reactions. When a hot energy comes into you, you physically can't stay cool. That energy must equally oppositely come out of you. It's a law of physics. It screwed with my brain chemistry, they say. So I never felt safe, always had to compensate to be the father I didn't have, parent myself because my real dad was more like a predator. I knew I'd never be a criminal or hurt anyone, but the equal opposite reaction still festered, had to come out, and being funny wasn't cutting it. I hit a breaking point without guidance after remembering the incident, and wrote a 300-page book about being the God Emperor of Earth. It was an outlet for the immense energy I couldn't process, and I dressed it up as being a leader who solved hunger and homelessness, unified the world, to mask my fury and desire to merely be an omnipresent tyrant without consequence, where my pain or trauma could have outlet and vent into others. So much pent up, it was a dark tale about trigger warning, cover your ears, the rape and torture of humanity for billions of years without death. Whew. Someone say awkward? Awkward. I didn't know then I was just venting in pain, but writing that horrifically awful book was more traumatic than the actual trauma. Way worse. Because I was just a victim before, but then it expanded to, at least in thought, multiplied to all other people. Awkward. How I say it to myself, well, to beat a demon, I accidentally tried to be the devil. It's like going backwards. So I destroyed the book, and 2 copies I gave to my family. I realized domination and being worse than bad people doesn't nurture joy. You only go deeper into a cave. You must avoid poison, not try to get over it, you know. If you find yourself in a swamp, don't beat it at being stinky. Get out. Bad loves being bad and suffering. Suffering brings it joy. Yes. Logic can't save them because it makes no sense. You must ignore, avoid, and reject them. You must choose for yourself joy. Only you save you. Deciding what matters in life is perhaps the most important thing in life. Most people just care about what they were told to, which I don't hate because it worked for their ancestors, so 80% is good enough for them. Streamlined values, easy, no 6 years meditating homeless in the woods. I'm not a hater. Personal experience, I wanted to know what was best. I went full tilt into religion, law of attraction, philosophy, mental masturbation. Real life happens in real life. No one needs philosophy, it exists here and now. What's right, how you feel. Gray-haired men take now and boringly stretch it out. After hundreds of books, writing many my own, my philosophy is no philosophy. If it matters now in the present, without any external revealed truth. How much education do geese and trees need before being happy and living? Humanity is so narcissistic, overcomplicating things to appear deep, when all of human history and society could be boiled down to trying to get food. You don't need 10,000 years of records. Food, and play with friends. To ground me in no philosophy, the final one I had was simply an affirmation of real life. Water, internet, sun, life. The simple things which bless us the most, which often are taken for granted. A question I like asking, would you rather have oxygen or a Lamborghini? Water or a mansion? People think of empty status, when everyone knows simplicity. Air, sun, these are infinitely greater riches. A dead person with a Lambo will always be poorer than a breathing person with a bike. There isn't one richer person than you in the world, from the second of your birth, forever.